So let me ask you something. What if the only hope for a dying kingdom was actually built on a total lie? That's the huge question at the very core of the epic story we're diving into today, The Weight of Eternity. Right from the jump, the scale here is just cosmic. A singularity exploded, manifesting infinity. This line tells you immediately this isn't just a simple story about a kingdom. No, this is about the very fabric of existence, about fate, and about forces that are way, way beyond our understanding. But every grand story needs a place to happen. And for us, that stage is the legendary city of Atlantis. And this shining beacon of civilization, it's about to be plunged into total darkness. I want you to just picture a true wonder of the world. A society where magic and technology aren't at odds. They're in perfect sync. You've got these towering crystal spires rising out of lush, glowing gardens. This place isn't just a city, it's basically paradise. Or at least, it was. Because that paradise is starting to crack. And the problem isn't some invading army at the gates. No, it's a decay. A sickness that's spreading from the inside out. And it has a name. The Great Dissonance. And really, it's a total systemic failure. The very lifeblood of Atlantis, this magical energy that powers everything, is turning into poison. So we're not just talking about one problem here. This is every problem. The food, the water, the magic, it's all failing. The stakes just couldn't be higher. We're talking total collapse. And what happens when you're facing total annihilation? Well, a kingdom starts looking for heroes. And Atlantis finds its hope in four really unlikely people, whose separate lives are all about to collide right in the center of the storm. Okay, let's follow the threads here. It all kicks off 20 years ago, with this really personal tragedy for a young Prince Archaea. He loses his mother. Now, at the same time, miles away from the palace, you've got this brilliant inventor, Zephyr, being given up by his family, and a rebellious artisan, Jax, who gets forced into the military. For 2 decades, their lives just run on separate tracks. But now, King Archaea is pulling these different threads together because he truly believes they are the only ones who can save his kingdom. And this right here? This is the ghost that haunts the king. His mother's last words weren't just a goodbye. They were a mission. Find the truth. It's this personal quest that has basically defined his entire life. Zephyr, though, he's driven by something else, a promise. It's a vow that came from hardship, this deep need to prove that his parents' sacrifice was worth it. See, he's not fighting for a memory, he's fighting for a future. And just like that, the team is formed, the Midnights. You've got a grieving king, an empathic healer, a prodigy inventor, and an outcast engineer. They are Atlantis' last, best hope. But their whole mission is about to be built on a foundation of lies. And this is where the story takes a really dark turn. Because the Great Dissonance, well, it's just a symptom. It's not the actual disease. The real threat isn't some failing system. It's a person hiding in plain sight. We need to talk about Arya, the royal vizier, the king's most trusted advisor, the very person who put this team together. I mean, she has been guiding him every single step of the way. But what is she really guiding him towards? Deep inside the palace, tucked away in some hidden chamber, Arya is communing with a ghost from her past, her mother. And it's in this exact moment that the real truth of why Atlantis is decaying is finally revealed. And here it is, the bombshell. The previous king, Archaea's own father, murdered Arya's mother. Whoa. This isn't about politics anymore, not at all. This is about a betrayal that has poisoned the royal bloodline for an entire generation. Okay, so let's walk through these terrible truths because this changes everything. 1, Arya is royalty. She's the king's secret half-sister. 2, her mother was murdered by the former king to keep it all a secret. 3, and this is just unbelievably cruel, a young, innocent Arya was tricked into delivering the poison that killed both of their mothers. And 4, because of all this, she believes she's the rightful heir. And just like that, our villain kind of becomes the tragic hero of her own story. So, armed with this absolutely devastating knowledge, Arya's plan for revenge starts to take shape. And the weapon she chooses to use? It's the one thing the kingdom wants more than anything else: hope. She doesn't try to stage a coup or anything like that. Oh no, her plan is way more clever. She manipulates her own half-brother by giving him exactly what he's desperate for: a quest, a noble purpose, a way to save his people and, in his mind, honor the very mother whose death was tangled up with her own. And this right here, this is the central, tragic conflict of the whole story. See, Archia is fighting for salvation. He wants to save his kingdom and honor his parents. But Arya, she's sending him to do the exact same thing, but for revenge. You've got two siblings, one quest, and a whole kingdom caught right in the crossfire. And the mission she gives them, it's practically a suicide run, a journey into the abyssal zone, this place of crushing darkness where no one has ever come back from. They're chasing a myth, a lost temple that's supposedly guarded by legendary monsters, all to get their hands on one single prize: the Omni Trident. And so, they head out. The Midnights, Atlantis' greatest hope, just filled with purpose. They think they're the kingdom's saviors, but they have absolutely no idea that they're just pawns in a revenge plot that's been simmering for 20 long years. And that brings us back to that huge central question. When a kingdom's only hope is a complete lie, who is going to pay the price for the truth? In a story this tangled, where the line between hero and villain is so blurred by grief and betrayal, who's going to be left standing to bear the weight of eternity?